Hey everyone, and welcome to the new year. With this new year comes a whole slew of new changes, and the first one being I want to take a more personal approach. So, hey guys, I'm Abby, and this is the Fight Space. Today, we're sitting down with the one and only Arnold Allen. How are you today?
Now I'm very good, thanks. Yourself?
I'm doing really well, excited. Thank you so much for taking the time. And I want to give a special shout out to our mutual friend Booger Beard for linking us up and getting this ball rolling for us. So thank you, Booger. And my first question for you for the day actually comes straight from him. And you know he's a little bit out there. I'm sure all of you guys who follow him on social media know that he's a bit of a wild man. So his question is equally as unhinged, and it gave me a chuckle when I read it. So he says, you have no choice but to live in one of two places for free for 1 year. One is a 1970s travel trailer with a leaky roof and a mold problem, but it has
Mm,
free Wi Fi and obvious mobility advantages.
yeah.
The other is a mansion with dozens of rooms, but somewhere in that mansion is a baby cobra, and he is not allowed to remove or confine it. Which
Mm.
one? Which one are you going to choose?
I'll take the 70s trailer. I'll take the
You'll,
trailer.
you'll take the
Yeah,
trailer.
I'm not a big fan of snakes.
Not a big fan of snakes. No, I can't
Oh,
imagine that there are very many snakes up in Canada.
no, I haven't seen any. I haven't seen any. But they got the bears though, they're equally scary.
Oh
Maybe more.
yeah, definitely way more likely to cause you physical harm too. Because I don't know, like guys, this is a UFC fighter saying he didn't want to go up with a bear, so you should
I'm the
take
I'm
his
the
lead.
10%. I'm the 10%, I guess, because I'm scared to death. I don't want to get eaten.
Absolutely. So to go back to combat sports and your beginnings within the sport, I read online that boxing is where you got your start, but
Mm.
MMA has really become its own style, and you've had some success with it. Was that natural or nurtured?
I'd say nurtured. So coming from amateur boxing as a kid to going to a jiu-jitsu gym, it was pretty sort of rude awakening, you know. I was going in there all confident with my boxing and then getting choked out and triangled about 10 times a lesson and doing the gi classes. It was just such a different world. But it was like the challenge was fun to learn it and to improve it, and being bad at it is kind of what motivated me to do it more, you know, to get better at it.
Absolutely, because you're going from using only two weapons in boxing, right? Your two hands,
Mm.
to this whole slew of other modes of attack with the kicking aspects. And then when you integrate your grappling in. So, what's it like now? A gym that's really developed that MMA style, of course, is TriStar. It's kind of a classic when you go back to the history of MMA. What's it like training there? And what's for us a hobby like as a coach?
Yeah. You know, for us these things a bit different. He's always out there with his views, with his coaching styles. He sort of goes against the grain of the average, I would say. But he's always trying new techniques and he's very innovative, you know. And one thing I respect from him is he'll show you a technique and maybe I don't agree with it. I'm like, oh, I'm not sure about that. But then I'll roll with him and wrestle with him and he'll use it on me and I'm like, "Ah, okay, yeah, no, I see it works." He's sort of one of the coaches, you know, he's still in great shape. He still trains all the time, you know, sometimes spars with the boys, sometimes rolls with us and wrestles with us. And he doesn't just tell you to do something without having done it himself. You know, he's gonna spar and try the technique. He's gonna wrestle. He's gonna try it. If it doesn't work, he'll go, "Well, I was having this problem, this problem." So yeah, he's great. He's great in that aspect.
And do you find that he develops things individually for each person based on what he sees you guys doing in the training room?
Yeah. And a lot is tailored depending who you're fighting, how you're fighting, and what attributes you have. You know, he works best with your strengths. If you come to him with all the tools, he's gonna show you how to express those the best way.
For sure. And speaking of guys who are in that training room, say hey to my guy Zachariah Ben Bushta for me. He's a karate combat guy. He trains out of TriStar, and I've had him on the show. Great guy, awesome
Yeah.
doctor as well.
Yeah, yeah, he's cool. Cool guy.
So take me back now to your fight with Max Holloway. I've been asking around with a lot of my friends in combat sports media, and the big question they all have is what made Max Holloway different from everybody else that you've fought?
No. It's a tough one actually. I don't know, more just the way I think he looks at a fight. And I've watched all of obviously pretty much all of his fights, and you expect him to do one thing, and we prepared for that thing, and that is him to throw high volume and pressure you, and he didn't do that. He backed up, circled, he moved well, and it was something we didn't really expect from him. So learning that lesson from someone like that is you have to be ready for everything, and stupid on my part to fight such a veteran and they just expect one strategy. So
Hmm.
a lesson learned there.
He wasn't exactly where you were expecting him to be, and finding and being prepared for something like that is it's extremely difficult even with all of your experience, and very few people have sorted out that puzzle. Would you be interested in a rematch down the line?
Yeah, of course, of course. There's definitely things I could have done better, and lessons learned again. Always easier said than done, but yeah, that would be cool.
Hmm. And you've got a big fight coming up in just a few weeks. So, what'll it be like for you fighting in front of the home crowd, given that Canada's home for you?
Um, yeah, yeah, no, it'd be cool. It'd be nice. I've been training over here for a few years now, on and off. So it's nice to finally get a fight over here, and a nice big pay-per-view in Toronto. It's gonna be cool. It's gonna be cool. I have some friends travel down from the gym. Obviously, all the people are coming down, so it's yeah, it's I'm looking forward to it.
Very, very exciting. And what special preparations have you been making? I know you don't want to go directly into your strategy, but are there any allowances you're making in your camp, and how's it going for you?
Allowances? How would you mean?
Like any special training, what are you focusing in on?
Just overall health. Just trying to be fit, healthy, shape. Not run into the ground like I've done in previous camps where I've destroyed my body and I've turned up like a bag of bones, all beat up, and you know, put more emphasis on like recovery and just looking after myself.
Absolutely. And part of looking after yourself is also your mental preparation. How do you mentally prepare prior to a fight?
Hmm. Again, it kind of goes against what I just said, but the hard work sort of we put in the gym, the training we put in, that gives me the confidence to be confident in the fight and not have to talk and say things to try and hype myself up. But you put in all the training. There's no reason to have a negative outlook. You've done all you can. You've pushed to the limit. You've done your recovery. You've slept well, ate good. There's nothing else you can do, right? You believe in your game plan, believe in your coaches, and that gives me the confidence to go out there and get the win.
For sure. And prepping for a fight over the holidays probably adds an extra layer of difficulty to it. What was the holiday food that you were most disappointed to be missing out on during prep?
Uh, like a proper English sort of Christmas dinner, with all the meat, the gravy, like a big roast dinner. It's all good though, and the post Christmas leftovers. Always make a big sandwich for that a couple of days after. But no, it's all good, all good. I've done a few camps over Christmas, so I'm kind of used to it now. But yeah, it is what it is.
For sure, but you've got a birthday coming up following that UFC pay-per-view. And if you get that fight of the night bonus, where can we expect Almighty to hold his after party?
uh, I saw a place in Toronto that sells what is it? It's like burgers and fries forever. It looks pretty good. So probably there, probably eating burgers. I'm not
Burgers
really,
and fries.
yeah, I'm not much of a guy for pie, so I'll be eating.
Not a big partier, not going to go out and get crazy and
Ah
get out
man,
under the
not for me.
lights. No
Not
clubbing.
maybe McDonald's.
Hey, I can fully support that. Well, I certainly have a few more questions for you, but first, I've got a few quick words from our sponsors. This episode is brought to you by my home dojo, Machida Karate Miami. Are you looking for an engaging activity for your little dragon? Young samurai getting bullied at school? Look no further than Machida Karate Miami. At Machida Karate Miami, their dedicated, experienced instructors believe in the power of martial arts to instill discipline, confidence, and respect in students of all ages. Even adults and seasoned martial artists can find comfort and confidence while being pushed to new heights. Want to learn self defense? They've got that covered too.
Machida Karate is a dynamic and effective method of training that's practical for self defense. Easy to learn for all ages, it's applicable in realistic situations and improves your fitness level by developing well rounded combative and fighting skills. But don't just take my word for it. Sensei Cristobal and Machida Karate Miami invite you to experience firsthand the benefits of their classes. Just go to machidamiami.com/free trial to register for a week of training, absolutely free of charge. While you're at it, follow them on social media at Machida Karate Miami across all major platforms and tell them you heard about them on the Fight Space. Us.
Okay, welcome back. Thank you for sticking around. Arnold, once again, thank you for the time. First question back for you. If you had to give me a Mount Rushmore, who would be on yours?
Oh, like MMA Mount Rushmore or just anyone?
Combat sports.
Okay. How many's on Mount Rushmore? It's four, right?
Four.
Four. GSP. GSP for sure. I am biased, but definitely GSP. He'd be the biggest one on there because he's my the GOAT for me. Mount Rushmore. GSP, obviously Anderson Silva. He's up there second. Uh who else? GSP. Jose Aldo. He was one of the sort of big inspirations for me. One of the guys a fellow featherweight, obviously in his prime, got me into the sport. And who else would I put in there? Let's go with Fedor. Let's put Fedor in there to mix it up. Yeah, yeah, I like those guys. GSP leading the way though. He's the number one, you know.
I know you said you're a little bit biased. You're probably training partner, been in the gym with him a few times.
Yeah, yeah. I've trained with George a bunch. He's a funny guy. You know, they say don't meet your heroes, but he's even nicer in person, you know, than what you would expect. So he's an even better dude in real.
Most certainly. I do a little bit of media with Karate Combat, so I've had a few chances to meet him, and he's
Okay.
always been really, really friendly with everybody, and
Yeah,
especially with me. So definitely cool to hear it from a training partner as well.
yeah.
If you had to throw a lady on your Mount Rushmore, who would make that list?
Ooh, Joanna Jacek. Joanna Jacek. Yeah, I fought in the same card as her a few times, and you know, she's super cool, like really cool. Just like really positive character, you know, and great fighter, of course. But you know, speaking to her outside, she's got such a positive, like a inspirational outlook on life. And now she's retired, even like speaking with her, she's just very cool. She's a very cool character.
What would be one piece of advice that you would give a younger version of yourself, or maybe a young fighter trying to get where you are?
Um, just trust the process, you know, like if you're working hard, my coach and my manager, he said to me when I was a kid, he just said work hard, stay humble, and things will work, you know. And it's I always had a plan. I always writ things down. I wanted things to happen by a certain date, and you know, life happens, injuries happen, pandemics happen, and all sorts of stuff happens that slows your list down and maybe stresses you out. But all you can do is trust the process. You put the work in and try to be a good person in it. You know, there's not much more you can do. Not saying always
Absolutely.
people win. Sometimes assholes seem to get ahead, but it's what it is. You know,
You can only control the trajectory of your own path.
exactly.
Absolutely. So this question comes from Mac Tyson of the Karate Hour. Shouts out to Mac Tyson and Mallory Woods. How did you get your nickname Almighty?
It's actually a fairly boring story. I don't know. So I was fighting on Cage Warriors, and somebody approached me. Steve, a guy called Steve, approached me. He had an MMA brand called Almighty Fightwear, and I think we were just drinking after the show. I want to fight, and he was talking to me at the bar, and he was like, "You know what? You should call yourself Almighty Arnold Almighty Allen, and you should wear Almighty Fightwear." And he did the shorts with Almighty, and he became a sponsor for a while. Made me some shorts with Almighty written across them, and it kind of just stuck. It just stuck. I was like, "Yeah, it sounds fun." He paid me to wear the shorts, and yeah, now I got my own brand, Almighty. So yeah, it's I think it's a pretty boring story, but yeah, bit funny.
Hey, I mean, you've got your sponsorship, and now you've turned it into something of your own now, right?
Yeah, exactly. Oh,
What do you see yourself doing after fighting? A lot of fighters get out of fighting and don't really know where they're going to end up, or they try to have a gym and doesn't work out, or I hate to see it when fighters are a little bit down on their luck after retirement. Where do you see yourself going after
yeah.
fighting?
It's yeah, it's something I've no, I've kind of as a kid I always dreamt with my dad being a strongman. My brother competes in strongman. My dad's fought MMA. Like strength training and martial arts have always been a big part of our life. So the gym is like the natural option, but I know it's a tough way to make a living running a gym, So especially now everything costs more and more money and people want to spend less and less, so it's hard. But yeah, I'd like to retire, on top of my career and run a gym and have a team, but the thought of going for a whole nother career, cornering, traveling, and I always find it more stressful to watch like my friends fight, especially if I've helped them for the fight, than my own fight. So I can only imagine doing that lifetime again of coaching and cornering and feeling that pressure and stress over again, probably two times fold, because for me it's like I'm living the dream. So it's more stressful for if someone else is fighting and I'm coaching, it's more stressful for me. But I think it was at one of the UFC retreats, Kobe said it. He said to put in the same energy post career that you do into your career, the same way, the same work ethic you put into your training, whatever it is you do. So yeah, I've always had the idea of just doing crazy stuff like I don't know, doing triathlons, and I have to do something. I can't. I'm not one of those guys that could sit down and yeah, I'll go crazy. Yeah.
Do you see yourself moving into something like commentary or cage side, like a Michael Bisping?
I'd love to, but I don't think I could do it. I don't think I'll be very good at it.
I want to start bringing some information to people that maybe is not common knowledge. So, what's your star sign?
I'm an Aquarius.
You're an Aquarius. Okay. What is your favorite color?
Oh, red, red. I like red. I've always liked red, but I kind of like polar opposites, red and blue.
Yeah. What would you be doing if you weren't fighting?
Ooh, probably, probably driving a truck or something.
Driving a truck?
Yeah.
How do you end up in a career like fighting if that was your trajectory prior to martial arts?
Uh, so I live in like in England. I live in a port town. Like there's just a dock there. Like my dad drives a truck. My granddad drove a truck. It's just yeah. But saying that, my dad loves driving a truck, so maybe it ain't that bad. My best friend drives a truck. It's but they living the dream. They love it.
Absolutely. And how different is living in Canada to where you come from in England?
So being in the city in here is just I like the gym and the training. I have family here, but home is always home. England is always home. I live by the seaside back home, and you know, I'm like by the seaside, but it's the countryside, so it's quiet. It's nice. You got the sea, you got the woods, the forests and stuff. That's much more me.
Absolutely. And are you expecting to have a big showing of English MMA fans showing up for you in Toronto?
Probably not. Not out in Toronto. I think it's pretty expensive out there, I think.
Mhm. The travel expenses certainly do add up. Well, we're looking
Yeah.
forward to seeing you fight. Are you feeling good and everything? Your camp's wrapping up really well for you?
Yeah, feeling good. Just the last bit, like last couple of weeks, start staring at burgers and watching Instagram reels of people making food that I can't eat, and I probably would never will eat even after the fight. So, yeah, just figure that it's the same cycle every camp.
Hmm. Hmm. Absolutely. Well, I appreciate you so much for taking the time out to sit down for this interview. I wish you the absolute best of luck in your fight, and thank you again.